We are go for liftoff in T minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell.
It's a Rose Blog Talk Radio.
Hello. This is Italo from Italo's Black Talk Radio. Welcome to the show. And I have here my first TikToker, guys. My first TikToker is calling me. I'm so excited because for those that don't know, I've been on TikTok world lately since I left Facebook. And I've been trying to get Michael to come into my podcast, but he's very busy. And that's how I met Jacqchi. Jacqchi, how do you say your last name?
Shalhoub, like the actor
Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub, but without with a C and without the money.
Right. Welcome to the show, Jacqchi, and I'm glad that you are my first TikToker ever to call. And I hope you're not the last TikToker, because I'm like meeting so many. You know how it is with TikTok. You just go through your FYP page, your face, what do you call it, for your page, and I just scroll through people, and that's how I met Michael. And then I scroll through other people, and so I'm like, I already have a schedule of people. You're my first TikToker, so welcome. And I heard that you're a poet, which I'm like, yes, Jacqchi is a poet. Awesome.
I love art in general, so I do, what I can when I can to express myself. So it's usually after like a breakup or something that I end up doing it the most. So
that's usually how it starts, right? With a breakup. But how long have you been doing poetry?
I started, I guess, when I was in high school. So
right.
I don't know, I want to say almost 20 years, I guess.
Okay.
I just felt like...
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, was it something that was instilled to you? Like somebody said, write something about this or that, or you just started writing on your own?
I was just a good writer in general, like just a creative person. And so I liked writing essays and stories, and I liked reading, and I was big into like grammar and words and like all the test words that they made you learn. I would actually like use them in real life scenarios, and all my friends would hate me for it, and they'd be like, "You need to stop." And I'm like, "That's so tenacious of you." Like, and I was like 9, or something. And so I just, I don't know, I just started like putting things together different, because the writing teachers, in school would give us prompts and stuff. And so I guess that's just how it started. And then I started just finding ways to make things rhyme. And I have a couple that don't rhyme, but most of them do. And I kind of just write until I feel like it's finished. Like there's one that I wrote like a part 1 to, and it still feels like it needs a part 2, but I don't know what it is yet, and I haven't been drawn to really write it.
Right. So is the process basically you write with an intention of making it into a poem, or you just start writing and then something comes out of it? Like, what is the process? Because I myself have a process where I don't know where it's going to take me. I may start with a prompt, but then suddenly the prompt becomes something, it becomes obsolete at the end. Like, I'm like, where did I start with this? And then I take it out completely. Sometimes I'm like, okay, the prompt has nothing to do with the rest of it. So, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just need a push into that direction. but then you I don't know
Sometimes,
if that happens to you.
sometimes it's like I get a line in my head, like that I feel like will be catchy, or that like sticks with me, and then I think like I could really go off of this for something, or I could really use this in my writing, and then I think, how do I want to put it in? And then sometimes I end up even moving, verses around. I'll write it and then I'll say, no, this is out of order. I'll put it in, or I'll keep going until I feel like it's over, until it's finished, until it's like closed, And then sometimes I'll say, this is for another poem. Like I've gone on too long. Is there a link I can share? I wanted to have some friends join.
Yeah,
Is there a way?
there will be a link. There will be a link at the end of the show.
Okay.
Because I did, I'll let you know later. But yeah, I basically put it on
it's
YouTube.
Not lifetime.
It's not live.
Okay, I understand.
It is live. I mean, if they want to call and listen in, they can.
Oh, okay, I
just give them the
understand.
number.
No,
yeah, they can do that. But as far as sharing it, not right now, not yet. Because
no, I understand now. I've never really done a podcast before, so I'm sorry.
No, the reason I don't do it live is I get nervous when I have like a lot of people listening at once, and I've done it before. Where I have 4 people calling at the same time. I get nervous for some reason because I'm like, okay, I know a lot of people will listen to it later. But for now, this is an intimate moment, and so I feel like sharing it with people in a live. You know what I mean? Like it makes you more.
No, I understand.
Nervous.
I do live streams on Facebook when I'm doing my makeup.
Okay.
And so I get it because sometimes like people are watching me and I get nervous, but I still enjoy the interaction.
Right.
Don't
get me wrong. I love
performing.
I love performing. Like in open mics, and I love audience. I love having an audience too.
Yeah. No, I understand that it's very nerve-wracking. Is what I'm trying to say. Like I get that it can make you nervous because there are times where I'm like I don't want to have an audience. I just want to hang out and I'll do my makeup by myself and share it later, for example.
So what other things do you do on your lives, like makeup or poetry or anything like that?
It's just mainly makeup. It's I'll do like different looks. We have there's this thing in the makeup community that we do. They're called collabs or collaborations, and we'll have a theme, and then a group of us, it could be 5, 10, 20 people, a group of us girls. We all do a makeup look inspired by that theme, and then we create a slideshow for it, and then we all post it and release it on the same day, and then we tag each other in it. And so we've done a lot of different ones. We do ones that like push ourselves, or we just do like fun ones. I did one recently. It was a crossroads one where we picked, a point in our life where we had to make a choice, and then we chose to be strong or survive or take the hard path that led us, to a better place. And then we did a spirit animal one, and I chose to, I think I sent it in there. I did the black sheep. I think I sent the TikTok.
I see it. Actually, I see.
So I did the black sheep because I relate to that a lot.
Oh.
And then we do them for holidays and stuff. So it's just fun. I have a cow one coming up. I have a gypsy one coming up. That's what we do. Or we'll do like challenges.
I'm looking through it. Right now, and I see the one with your big mouth. That's kind of scary.
Oh yeah,
but I see the other ones
too.
They're pretty cool.
The big mouth one is supposed to be like the Snapchat filter.
Oh, okay.
That filter on Snapchat that makes your mouth look really big.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, it's just interesting.
But yeah, I know that.
Actually, I haven't. To be honest with you, I haven't seen your videos except for the ones I'm looking at right now are just the previews, and so. But if you want people to follow you on TikTok, you want to give them your TikTok name or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm trying to get around to posting more and more, so I wouldn't mind more engagement. It's Chic by Jacqchic, but there's dots, so CHIC dot, then the word by, then dot JACQCHIC. And I came up with that, like that's my own brand for myself because my name is Jacqueline, but I also want to be chic, and I like to be chic, so then I'm Jacqchic. And that's how I came up with that, and that's kind of been what I've been using for the longest now, for years. So.
How long have you been doing the makeup tutorials?
I guess I've been doing the live stuff for about like 3 years now, and really getting into it. And it's an art form, and it takes a lot to really improve on the details. So I can really see like how far I've come, because I've always like enjoyed makeup and the artistry of makeup and just applying and things like that. And I'm not the one to typically apply makeup for coverage, like to hide things. I just play with it, and that's what I like it for. So.
Right. No, I can see the art. I can see the.
Jackie, did Drew like?
It's like a painting. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought they were talking to you. Sorry.
Yeah, my brother was talking to me,
but
but I told him I was on the phone.
Okay. I can see that you put your face is like a canvas, right? So I'm sure you get this. Yeah, I get it. It's cool. So what I would like to hear for the starters is some of your poetry, because I know that you write, and and I wanted to hear some kind of new poetry. So whenever you're ready, let me know.
Yeah, I don't remember which one I sent you, and I want to read one that I hadn't sent already, but let me see. Okay. I have a different one. All right.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
Let's hear.
My pain is mine, but so is your joy. The love of my friends is all I employ. I let out pain to take in yours. I talk of pain because my love endures. I trust my mind to those with care, because their ups and downs are mine to share. I don't let go, I pull it in. I'll take it all to let you win. I show my anger and my hurt, but I always take back the bad things first. To share your pain is to share your heart. So when the love grows, you feel less apart. To put a mask makes life unreal. Relationships cannot thrive if you don't show how you feel. I'll bare my heart if you give me yours, and even so, my goodness to you I'll always show. Through my anger, I'll keep goodwill. I'll show you that there's more to us still. And if I withdraw, it's not out of hatred or being cross, but because our paths together are something lost. Every relationship runs its course, and having faith will keep it from being forced. Faith to breathe, faith to see, faith to know what pure love in your life can be. Family, partners, whomever they are, cannot from our hearts be kept too far. If it's true, it will stay, but to know through faith is the only way. That's it.
Wow.
Snap, snap, snap.
Yay.
And it's called Faith and Faith Through Love and Pain. Mm-hmm.
So your inspiration basically is, what's that?
So with this one, I was going through a breakup. My boyfriend and I were together for over 5 years, and we broke up in January. And I mean, it was the best decision for both of us, and it was what needed to happen. But it was still very hurtful, and I felt like there was a rift between a couple of friendships because they weren't able to help me navigate through my pain. And I found it very hurtful because I feel like I do that for everyone. And so it was basically like, you know, if we can't be together as a friend, as a family member, as anything, I'll still wish you well and I'll still care for you, but from a distance, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's meant to be that we're to join again, then, you know, that's what we have to have faith in. We have to have faith in that whatever happens is the best path for either of us, but not to wish any ill will or be spiteful about it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it was also because I had basically felt like I lost my best friend.
Yeah, right.
With that too.
And actually, you've been sharing some of this stuff off, you know, before the interview. And I just have to say, and now that we're talking, I have to say that when you sent me, I think it was 2 days ago, I became really angry, and I don't know why. Maybe it was a trigger, because you don't realize how hurtful words can be, especially for a poet. Like if you're going to use your words to hurt people and to be spiteful and to be dismissive and to be put you down, you know, stuff like that. To people that are not empathetic or empathic or empaths, as we tend to be, they don't realize how hurtful it is and how damaging it can be, right? So, and I apologize because I just got into I don't even know why, because I don't know you personally. But I feel like because we're in the same group and we're talking and chatting, I just had to say it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just went full force on you because I'm like, I know what you've been through. I know what is going on because I had relationships that lasted for 11 years and 7 years, and I know the pain that is, you know, it's a fresh, it's like a wound, right? It's like a fresh wound, and you're putting salt in it. And I just felt like, oh my God, it's always happening. So for that,
I feel like we developed a really special community. I feel like that group chat that we've been in, I feel like it's become really intimate. And so even though we haven't known each other for very long, we've just found a way to connect and relate to each other because we share a mutual energy for all things good, and we feel for each other when anything is bad. And I mean, it's okay. I wasn't offended. I appreciated what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word, but I do appreciate that you were basically looking out for my best interest from a relatable point. And it was actually, that conversation I had was hard for me because I'm the type that wants to continue to argue and defend myself and feel the validation and say, no, you will hear me, you will hear my side, you will tell me everything. And when I just saw, you know, I saw where it would be going, and I saw how toxic it would be to me in the end. And so even though I had initially demanded to be spoken with about it, demanded to hear it out, I just said, have a good night. And that was a big step for me, to just be able to walk away and drop it. So
Well, yeah, and the reason I was telling you the things I was, well, let me just share a little bit of what I was saying because people will be like, "What are you talking about? You're speaking in codes, Victor."
Right.
Like, anyway, so what I was saying is because you're going through a breakup, and in the first couple of months, or in your case, 6 months, it's really hard to detach from your ex, right? And because you're like you said, you were friends and you shared everything. I don't know how close you
yeah,
were,
but that actually wasn't my ex-boyfriend
oh,
that I had sent the message. Yeah, it was somebody that I had briefly talked to shortly after my ex, and he was somebody I had been friends with for a very long time.
Oh.
And so so there's been a lot of like confused feelings. It felt like we had closure, and then we didn't, and then we're still, trying to maintain the friendship. So I'm doing what I can to compartmentalize that because we are in a tight inner circle, and my boyfriend is in that too. My ex-boyfriend, I mean. So,
I
so that's what it was. That's what it was.
Okay.
But my ex-boyfriend and I actually have been able to have civil conversations and even lighthearted ones where we've had jokes and laughter. But he has a new girlfriend, and I'm okay with that because at first it was hurtful because I knew that he was ready to meet someone right away, and we had our 5-month anniversary in November, and as soon as we broke up, he was looking for a new girlfriend. And then he met someone, and I wish them well, and I hope she's good to him. I hope he's better to her, and they're better together than he and I were. And I also accept that he needed to find someone before me because I felt like if he hadn't, he would have eventually tried to come back, recreate the toxic pattern we had. And I also feel like if I had met someone first, he would have been very just nasty about it. I feel like he would have, just been very aggressive and jealous and have a really bad energy about it. So I accepted that he met someone before I did. So
okay.
So I'm okay with that. I do have a poem that I wrote in March, and it's actually one of my more positive ones, because a lot of them are just very dark and morbid, because I like to kind of just dig in and reach out pull up the macabre.
Oh, okay.
But I wrote this one for someone I'd like to share.
Sure.
I'm not sure if I shared it with anybody yet.
You are
but it was
doing
what
it
I
now.
was feeling at the time. Okay. Oh, to be lifted by you, the strongest I know, to let you see what I see in a true way that shows, to show you how I feel in a way that is real, by supporting our feelings in a way we can heal, to lick each other's wounds and seal them with tenderness, to have each other to express ourselves to in a way we have finessed, to envelop ourselves with laughter and sit in peace and silence after. And then we start again with each moment that is new, feeling that these moments can never be so few. And with each passing day, I never cease to be amazed by our time together that always leaves me in a daze. To be real, too good to be true, too surreal for the pain we can possibly undo. As we progress from what we've missed, let us make haste, let us not dwell, let us not waste. This is too precious to not give a full go, and maybe more rare than each of us can know. And even though it's the future I often fear, just know that for now, as long as I can be, I am here. Snap, 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 snap.
That's nice. Have you shared this poem? You say you haven't shared it with anybody, right?
No, I mean, so this was for the guy that I had actually showed the messages about. So, as you can tell, I had I felt like an intense connection. I have not gone out of my way to date, but I have allowed people to approach me, just, certain friends that have claimed they've been interested in me, or if anything has developed. I just haven't actually gone and done dating sites or anything like that. And that's mostly because I still feel a bit traumatized from just the hurt and the toxicity that I went through at the end of the relationship. Because when one guy was just so disrespectful of my time and not committing to phone calls and dates, and it really upset me, and it triggered times when my ex-boyfriend felt like, his responsibilities and his, time was more valuable and more important than mine, because he felt like he was doing more in life and was just better in general. So it didn't occur to him, like he didn't see anything wrong with inconveniencing me. Like everything was about his timeline, his schedule. And to me, I'm thinking, I put up with this for so long with my boyfriend. I'm not going to let just some person that I've only, been talking to for a couple of weeks do this to me and bring me through this. And if I'm going to react this violently, emotionally to it, to someone I haven't even been talking to so much, then I'm obviously not ready.
Right.
But I also live with a borderline personality disorder, and a big issue or a big symptom of that is real or perceived abandonment. And so when somebody with BPD like me does not, the communication back, like a text isn't answered or a person is late or a person doesn't show up, that's major abandonment to us. That's, to me, it's like, if you can't talk, tell me you can't talk. Don't just ignore me. So being ignored, being forgotten, being discarded, that's my biggest fear. And I don't want to be so vulnerable to someone that I haven't even invested that much in yet. And if I can't do that so soon, then it's just not time. So I've just been letting things happen. And then when I see that it's a toxic pattern or that it's not for me, I do what I can to stop it. I'm usually not good at having uncomfortable conversations unless it comes from an argument. Because, like I said before, I'm Lebanese, so the Mediterraneans, we get really passionate, we get really heated. So if it's an argument, then yeah, I'll say it, I'll throw out the verbal punches and everything. But to actually come out and like have a conversation about boundaries and have an uncomfortable conversation where it has to be talked about, but it's not going to end easily necessarily. I've just been working really hard to make sure that I'm comfortable and not just doing things because other people might like them. And I'm looking for the best way to take care of myself while still being mindful of others. And that's the real struggle, I feel like.
Right. which I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can understand that you're working on yourself, and so yeah, totally. Some relationships can be so toxic that you're left with all these in you, all this abuse and all this hurt, and you have to release it somehow, maybe through your poetry or maybe through your art or your expressions, and you have to just basically come to yourself, right? And so that,
yes,
I can appreciate that. And people have luggage, everybody has a luggage, so you don't have to take care of somebody else's luggage. Yeah. So.
Yes, And I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep speaking over you. I'm excited.
No problem.
But that's also why I did the black sheep look, because my former best friend, like, that was the last thing she said to me in an argument we had, was she said, "You're one of the sheep." And I made a joke, like, with my friends talking about it, like, if being this way makes me a sheep, and it's the right way, then bah, bitches. Like, that was my joke about it. But really, I do feel like the black sheep amongst, like, a lot of my social circles and in my family and, things like that. So I am a sheep, but I'm not the sheep that she said I was. I'm my own sheep.
Mm.
And so it was really symbolic for me to do that.
Right.
And
when you heard of black sheep,
mm-hmm.
yeah, I get that. And also, black sheep means you're the scapegoat of the family. So there's different animals who can be called, right?
Right.
You always
right.
blame
She
for
said
everything.
sheep like a follower, but that's why I said black sheep, because I'm apart from the herd, from the rest.
Yeah, that's the opposite
of
being a sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny.
And so that's why I
share
took
something
it back
with you.
and I made it my own. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. You have to do that. I'd like to share something with you, if I may. Some poetry that I was writing, and I don't know what I was going through here, but it's called Compassion, and I think the prompt of the person that told me this was compassion, basically focusing on compassion. So I wrote this piece. I guess it's called Compassion. So I never knew how to feel compassion. Oh, okay. Here we go. I never knew how to feel compassionate towards myself. I was always worried about how others are doing. First came their feelings, their struggles, their misfortunes. And then there was me, always last, always on the back burner, always in second place. I thought that compassion was always fully outward, tied in with materialistic things, giving food to the homeless or giving close to the charity or giving money to a foundation. But what I learned recently is that money doesn't truly translate to compassion. Giving money to those in need only felt good for a little while, but then the feeling quickly left. Compassion is giving someone a smile, a hug, a kiss, a handshake, a letter, a poem, a song, time to listen instead of simply talking, accepting people, flaws and all, even my own. Everybody needs compassion. Everybody deserves your attention, typically not tied to retribution, which kills the spirit of giving. So be compassionate, be generous, be gratuitous. I have a problem with that word. Gratuitous. Give from the heart, not from the wallet. God is present in good deeds. The universe will compensate tenfold, hundredfold, millionfold. That's part of it. But I was thinking about how we're not compassionate with ourselves, and you were saying something earlier, how you put your relationships, you put the other person first, and you put his feelings first. You were saying how you're glad that he found somebody before you did. So that, I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I definitely relate to that, because basically you're saying that you want a connection with someone else so bad, you crave the connection with someone else, that you neglect the connection to yourself, right, and to your soul and in your heart. And so you lose yourself for the sake of others. And then in the end, we end up harming the other person and harming ourselves, because we've locked in all this poison, all these negative feelings that we put away because we were upset that we were doing all these things for the other person, feeling like we weren't getting it back, and in the end, turning on that person. And so everything we did for them, everything we worked for, is used against us, because then all of a sudden it's all forgotten. Because the two of you didn't work together to connect, and one of us worked harder than the other. And from that, we broke down, we broke ourselves down, we broke the other person down.
Right.
And some people can come back from that, and some can't. From as far as relationships go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's also not fair for the next person too. If you're like myself, I'm talking about from my experience is that I never let any time to heal in between one relationship and the next. Sometimes they're intertwined, and I've learned recently that I never been single since I was in my 20s. And it's, oh my God. And it came to me very recently, that I have never been on my own. I've never been comfortable being alone. And I never know why. But I understand I lost myself in the relationships that I was with, where I became so, I became them. I took some of their traits even. And so taking their traits and their mentality, sometimes I got lost in it too, and I had no personality.
Mm-hmm.
I got no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know who Victor is. I don't know who my voice was, basically. I'm like, my throat chakra was like non-existent, and I didn't know who that person was. In those relationships, I lost myself, and it's only been recently that I discovered. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Sorry.
I like where you were going with it.
Okay, so as an empath, you basically download another person's personality, right? So it's like you take in their personality, and that becomes your software. And so you download it into your being, and their personality is a big part of your personality. And so when they leave and you lose that part of you, you really feel the hole missing from your personality, and you have to figure out, you're left wondering, well, what part of my personality do I fill it with? Do I have personality to fill it with? Can I fill it on my own, or do I need to seek someone else to fill it for me, which is what we end up doing, even though that's not the answer.
Right.
Because I'm the same way. I've jumped from relationship to relationship, or to like anything like flings, attractions to people, encounters.
Which is the worst.
So it is hard to be alone.
The fling part is the worst to me. Being
the which part?
Like flings, or having like one night stands.
Oh, flings.
And
yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the worst. Sorry, just had
a
flashback.
I tried doing that.
Oh God.
No, I understand. And like the thing is that I was at a point where I thought, like, if I had flings instead of relationships, that typical broken person that doesn't want to commit to anybody and just wants to, have something fun and light, and it still, to me, turned into something else for me, but not for the other person. So it's not something that I typically engage in. It just depends on how I'm able to compartmentalize it, or if there's a mutual respect between me and the other person as well, then it just varies. Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of having like a little we have like a little therapy group going on, and we can always go back
Mhm.
to that and share what's going on and what do you guys think. And even though we don't know everybody in the group, well, we get to know each other, along the way. But of course, I myself like to talk to people. I'm old school. I don't like chatting so much on the internet, even though I do
Okay.
it. But I feel like having a connection is the best way, like having to talk to people, and because you kind of like lose the intention on the text, or when you're texting somebody, you don't really know what their tone of voice is, or if they're being sarcastic, or are they being whatever. And so,
Right.
anyways, that's a little tangent. I went there.
Yeah, I understand.
But,
And there have been times.
Mhm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're my guest.
There, there have been times where I have said to the person, "I don't know if this is what you intend, but this is how you're coming off," and then that helps,
Mm-hmm.
guide the conversation better. Or when a person says, they come at you because they feel like you were being with them, and then you say, "Well, no, this was my intention."
Mm-hmm.
So it is. There's ways
Right.
around it, but you're right. It's definitely not the preferred
No.
the preferred method
Not at all.
of communication.
Not at all. Especially in a relationship, if you're in a relationship, you better
Right.
be able to express yourself,
Mhm. Exactly.
Sorry,
And
you were
that
going
was
to say something?
also. Yeah, I'm so sorry, and I don't mean to be rude and keep
Okay.
cutting you off. I just blurt thoughts out. That was another big thing with my ex-boyfriend, was because he had a full-time job, and then we lived on opposite sides of town. So it was, I expected certain amounts of affection in between times we saw each other. I felt like because we can't see each other a lot and have that like physical connection and be together and enjoy each other, like I wanted more communication, more time on the phone,
Right.
or more like affectionate, little affectionate, loving messages, things like that. And he wasn't understanding that, and that's just his love language. His love language is to buy things for people, like be a provider basically. And I need like touch and words of affirmation, and so that's where we had
Right.
that's the
Hey, Jackie, guess what? We have 1 minute left. It's been really
wow.
interesting. I do want to
I'm so
thank
sorry
you, though.
that I dominated.
Oh no, I love this. I love the conversations, and this is just the first interview. Anyways, I'm hoping we'll have more, but I'd like to have another 45 minutes to talk about poetry and what else are you doing. And I'm going to follow you on. I already have you on my TikTok, so I'll look up more of your videos. But one thing I do want to say is, if you can say one phrase for me, I'll be really grateful. Is, I didn't see that coming. Can you say that?
I didn't see that coming.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30.
Hit the record button.
Gosh, that's swell. you like my glasses.
Well, I didn't see that coming.